Is anyone out there listening? Good. You've tuned into Lavender Town Radio, the only station brave enough to broadcast the static between worlds. Tonight, we have a story for you, a whisper from the shadows, a tale woven from the dark pages of the Pokédex that they never wanted you to read. But first, a small favor. If you find a chilling comfort in our stories, show your support by hitting the like button. It's a small click for you, but it's a beacon for us in the digital darkness. And to ensure you never miss a transmission, make sure you subscribe and ring that little bell. It helps our signal cut through the noise. All right, the signal is clear. Now, are you comfortable? Good. Let's begin.
My 5 best soldiers were gone. Now I had to face the judgment of the living. The emergency meeting of the Paldea Pokémon League was held in a tense silence. All 8 gym leaders were present via holoscreen, their faces a mixture of anxiety and anger. Grusha of Glaciata was the first to speak, his voice like ice. 5 lives, Chairwoman. 5 elite trainers. One of them, Kale, was my student, and they died following an order their own leader hesitated to obey. I made an error in judgment, I said, my voice flat, betraying no emotion. I underestimated the threat. Underestimated? Iono of Lavencia cut in, her voice high and dramatic. All of Paldea is freaking out. My viewership is tanking because people are afraid to even turn on their devices. This isn't an underestimation, it's a catastrophe. And you sent 5 people in there with no exit strategy. My plan was based on the available data, I countered. The data indicated the subject was in a dormant state. It was a calculated risk. Your calculation got them killed, Grusha shot back. Enough! Rika's sharp voice cut through the air. The room fell silent. Assigning blame will not stop the sound, nor will it bring them back. We are not here to put the chairwoman on trial. We are here to find a solution. Rika, despite her disapproval of my decision, was ever the pragmatist. The stability of the league came first. She had saved me from a mutiny, but I knew her trust in me was fractured. It was Brassius, the artist of Artisan, who offered a new perspective. Perhaps we are looking in the wrong direction. It does not feel like a creature of the past. It feels like a living sculpture, a manifestation of pure power, like Gigantamax. Gigantamax and Paldea? There are no power spots. Rika was skeptical. Perhaps this is a primeval form of it, a form that doesn't need a power spot, one that can be sustained indefinitely. There is only one place in the world with enough knowledge of that phenomenon, Hassel said, Galar, and only one person who has faced a catastrophe on this scale. I concluded. Get me a line to Leon. We called the world's strongest champion for help, but the one who answered her call was a scientist. The hollow call with Leon was strange. He was as energetic as ever, his Charizard yawning in the background, but as I presented the problem, showing him the last images of the Stratus team, his smile vanished. A permanent Gigantamax, he muttered. That's impossible. The energy required... Leon? Who were you talking to? Another voice came from off-screen. A young woman with blonde hair and a lab coat appeared. Sonia, the Pokémon professor of Galar. Oh my, is that Area 0? This energy data is unbelievable. For the next hour, I was no longer speaking to a champion. I was speaking to one of the world's foremost scientific minds. Sonia was fascinated. It's not just Gigantamax, she said after reviewing everything. It's more like a living power spot, a faulty Dynamax reactor. My hypothesis is this. An ancient Pokémon came into contact with an immense and unstable source of Dynamax energy. It didn't just grow. It fused with the energy. It's no longer a living creature in the normal sense. It's a sentient energy storm. That drone isn't snoring. It's the sound of raw Dynamax energy leaking from a body that cannot contain it. So how do we fight a storm? I asked. You don't, Sonia said. Trying to attack it with force would be like punching a hurricane. It would just absorb the energy and get stronger. That's why the Stratus team failed. Its scream wasn't a sound attack. It was a raw blast of Dynamax energy. A heavy silence fell over the call. My newfound hope was crumbling. But, Sonia said, a spark in her eyes, but if you can't fight a storm, what can you do? You can soothe it, lull it back to sleep. Perhaps if we could create a frequency, an energetic lullaby, we could stabilize it. Sonia and I are coming to Paldea, Leon said decisively. This is no longer just your region's problem. Our new plan wasn't to kill it. It was to sing a lullaby to a dying storm. Sonia worked tirelessly with our scientists, designing a device she called the harmonic regulator. It was designed to emit an energy frequency that could calm wild Dynamax energy. Meanwhile, Leon and I prepared for another descent. This time, no team, just the two of us, two champions. We need speed and silence, he said, and Pokémon that can withstand the chaos. Our preparations were entirely different. We were equipped with special sound-dampening armor. Our Pokémon were outfitted with items that could lessen the impact of sound-based attacks. What is the plan? I asked Sonia the night before we left. Leon will protect you, she explained. Your job, Geeta, is to get close enough to deploy the regulator. It will activate automatically, but you only have one shot. If it fully awakens before the device works, neither of you will survive. I didn't sleep that night. I stood on the league balcony looking towards the crater, which emitted a faint, pulsing light. I felt no fear. The guilt had burned it all away. This was my chance at redemption. This time, it was just the two of us. Two champions descending to face something that strength could not defeat. The second descent was eerie. Area 0 was quieter than before. The wild Pokémon, those that had survived, had learned to hide. The droning grew louder as we approached the final laboratory. This time, it wasn't just a sound. I could feel it in my bones, a vibration that blurred my vision. We reached the crater. It was still there, curled in its nightmare sleep. Okay, Leon whispered over the comms. I'll draw its attention if it stirs. You go. I began the descent, every step calculated. The harmonic regulator, a metallic sphere, was heavy in my hands. I reached the bottom. I was only a few meters away. I could see the crystals on its back pulsing faintly. I placed the device down. A soft blue light began to emanate from it. The plan was working perfectly. Too perfectly. The creature didn't stir. It didn't wake. It opened all of its eyes at once. They were no longer golden magma. They were deep voids of swirling, raw, red Dynamax energy. And silence fell over the cavern. The drone had stopped. Geeta, what's happening? Leon's voice was tense. I couldn't answer. The air grew thick, heavy. And then, a new sound began. Not a roar, a high, thin shriek like the sound of a star being torn apart. The harmonic regulator began to vibrate violently, then crack. Sonia, it's not working. It's making it worse. It's energy. It's not wild Dynamax. It's something else. An opposite. Get out of there now. but it was too late. The creature rose, its massive body filling the cavern. It didn't look at us with anger. It looked at us with the curiosity of an insect observing an insect. It opened its mouth, and I knew we were about to die. We didn't beat it. We didn't survive it. We were simply spared. I didn't see a wave of energy. I didn't hear an explosion. I just felt dissolution. The world around me began to lose its color, fading to an ashen gray. I looked down at my hands and saw them slowly becoming translucent. Leon's scream was muffled into a distant whisper. This wasn't death. This was erasure. The sound it was making didn't destroy matter. It destroyed existence. I closed my eyes. I thought of the Straddles team. I thought, I'll be seeing you soon. And then it stopped abruptly. The dissolution reversed. The color rushed back into the world. The sounds of the world rushed back in. I opened my eyes. Leon and I were lying on the floor, panting, and the monster was gone. It didn't fly away. It didn't burrow into the ground. It simply was no longer there, as if it had never existed. The crater was still there. The destruction was still there, but its source had vanished. Silence fell over Area 0, a true silence for the first time in weeks. We didn't speak a word on the flight back to Megazosa. We couldn't. We hadn't won. We hadn't survived by skill or by strength. We had been survived for a reason we could not comprehend. We had been spared. No one could solve the problem. It arrived on its own and it left on its own. It left behind 5 graves, a traumatized region, and a mystery even greater than itself. Paldea is back to normal now. The people have forgotten the roar. They've moved on with their lives. But I haven't. I can't. Sometimes on quiet nights, when I stand on the leak balcony, I look up at the sky. It's peaceful, but I know the truth. The silence isn't emptiness, it's just a pause, a held breath. We don't know what it was. We don't know where it came from, and we don't know if it will ever come back. I am no longer the one in control. I am just the watcher, living under a silent sky and wondering when it will decide to scream again. And that is a horror no battle can ever conquer.
The transmission is ending. The static is creeping back in. Thank you for listening to Lavender Town Radio. Remember, the Pokédex only tells you half the story. We're here for the other half. Your thoughts on this story are valuable. They tell us what scares you. Leave them in the comments. To help us continue broadcasting from the abyss, please hit the like button and most importantly, subscribe. More subscribers mean a stronger signal, and a stronger signal means more secrets can be revealed. This is Lavender Town Radio, signing off. Be sure to check your shadows. You never know what might be listening.